Episode 80, The Wonders Woman and the LGBTI Movement. Good evening, I am Tomas Guevara, and this is the channel Rewriting the Reality. Please allow me to remind you all that the name of my channel was chosen to reflect the shift of consciousness that started around the year 1995. This shift that is changing our reality will be finished around the year 2075. In the meantime, we will see great changes in how we create our reality. Our sciences will have to rewrite all our physical laws and the psychology terms. For example, black holes are energy deposits that can never be penetrated by anything. Also, nothing is unconscious because everything is made of links of consciousness, just as I explained in episodes 77 and 77b. Subscribe to this channel to be aware of the expansion of this shift. In episode 30, I explained how the LGBTI movement started in Costa Rica. Today I am going to explain how it started in the USA. In 1965, members of the LGBT community rallied in the American Capitol and gathered in front of the White House to stage the first LGBT rights demonstration in the United States. The LGBT movement has been at the forefront of intrastate socio-political affairs since then. Over the years, the American government and society have become considerably responsive to the needs and concerns of the LGBT community amidst opposition. However, it is still important to remember that the history of the LGBT movement in the United States has been characterized by an arduous struggle that spanned for decades. Before the landmark demonstration in the American Capitol, there were already several organizations formed to address the concerns of gays and lesbians. The Mattachine Society, for example, was founded in 1950 in Los Angeles and became one of the first organizations to promote the rights of gay men. The Daughters of Bilitis was the first lesbian civil and political rights organization formed in San Francisco in 1955. Both organizations also provided moral support and encouraged gays and lesbians to assimilate as much as possible into the prevailing heterosexual culture. Furthermore, these organizations served as venues for discussions and research, while also becoming instrumental in promoting the need to build and maintain LGBT communities. One Incorporated also had a remarkable impact in the early phases of the LGBT movement. Founded by William Dale Jennings in 1952 and joined with like-minded colleagues Don Slater, Dor Legg, Tony Reyes, and Mattachine Society founder Harry Hay, this gay rights organization had a fully functional machinery that included a public office, administrative infrastructure, logistics, a telephone, and the first publication that reached the general public, One Magazine. What probably only 1,000 people know is that the creator of the comic magazine Wonder Woman, Mr. William Marston, was, together with his wife, Elizabeth, and the girlfriend of both, Olive Byrne, the first persons to fight for the right of the LGBTI movement. In the year 1928, William and his wife Elizabeth taught and worked on their research at the Associated Harvard and Radcliffe colleges. One day, William hires one of his students, Olive Byrne, as a research assistant. Olive aids in Marston's work in inventing the lie detector device and researching William's disc theory of human personality traits affecting their interactions. The three then soon grow close. One test after another, with the lie detector, revealed that they had fallen in love with one another, and all three of them began to engage in a polyamorous relationship. As word about their unconventional relationship gets out, the Martins are fired from the university. Olive reveals that she is pregnant and moves in with Marston shortly after. The trio decides to build a family together and create a fabrication to keep secret the nature of their relationship. The family settles in a New York suburb, happily together. By 1934, both Elizabeth and Olive bear children by William. Olive has 2 sons and Elizabeth has 1 son and 1 daughter, telling the neighbors that Olive is a widow and taken in by the Marston. William starts trying to make a living as an author. Elizabeth takes a job as a secretary and becomes the main breadwinner of the family. Olive stays at home and takes care of the kids, occasionally submitting her writing samples to publishers. They raise their 4 children together, and Elizabeth names her daughter after Olive. In 1940, William stumbles upon a lingerie shop in New York City run by Charles Guyette, who introduces him to fetish art, portrayed in themed comics and photos. The art captures William's imagination as a demonstration of his disc theory. Elizabeth initially disapproves of the art, but she relents during a presentation wherein Olive tries out an outfit that later would be the prototype for Wonder Woman's costume. After finding limited work as a writer, Marston comes up with the idea of creating a female Amazonian superheroine for a comic book. The comic would feature his ideas on disc theory, drawing inspiration from Marston's work on the lie detector as well as Elizabeth and Olive in real life, and intends to support the feminist movement to further equal rights for women through a populist medium. He pitches his ideas to Max Gaines, a publisher at National Periodical Publications, who ultimately accepts the comic and suggests simplifying the female superhero's name to Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is an instant hit, leading to prosperity for the Marston and Byrne family. However, one day, their neighbor wanders into their home and witnesses the three of them having sex. This incident led to their children getting bullied and being asked to leave school by the staff. Worried about their children being attacked and ostracized and thinking they have no other choice, Elizabeth reluctantly demands that Olive leave the household with her children. At the same time, the Wonder Woman comic receives accusations of featuring overtly sexual, sadomasochistic, and lesbian imagery that leads William to be questioned and give testimony before the authorities. Leaving the testimony, William collapses and is rushed to the hospital. Learning that he is dying of cancer, William asks Olive to see him and Elizabeth again, trying to help them reconcile. William persuades Elizabeth to submit to Olive as she should not always dominate in their relationship. The Marstons get on their knees and beg for Olive's forgiveness, and Elizabeth tearfully admits that she cannot live without Olive. She eventually agrees to come back to them. William died in 1947. Elizabeth and Olive continued to live together as a couple for another 43 years until Olive died in 1990. Elizabeth lived to be 100. It also notes that sexual imagery disappeared from the Wonder Woman comic after William's death. However, she kept her powers and had conventional superhero adventures. In 1970 she was subject to a reboot and lost her superpowers. She became a crime fighter and boutique owner. Famous activist Gloria Steinem reclaimed the character in 1972 when she put Wonder Woman on the cover of the first issue of Ms. magazine as the quintessential symbol of female empowerment. The disc theory stands for dominance, inducement, submission, and compliance. Disc assessments are behavioral self-assessment tools based on psychologist William Moulton Marston, whose theory was first published in 1928. These assessments aim to predict job performance by categorizing individuals into the above four personality traits. However, the scientific validity of DISC has been a subject of debate, with some considering it to be a pseudoscience. Critics question its reliability and accuracy in predicting job performance. This theory is not at all valid for job performance. However, it is a valid theory to describe relationships. Without knowing this theory, during the decade of 1980, I participated for approximately 15 years in a similar relationship with two women, and then in another with one woman and her boyfriend, who was the person in compliance. Just to clarify, I was never involved in bisexuality. I was always the dominant person. I hope that you can enjoy this information. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel.